In Python, string means sequence of characters. So let us define that what are the different ways to define a string in Python. So this is way number one. That means here this welcome has been enclosed within single quotes. So if we go on printing this my str1, I'm getting this welcome here. Here welcome is enclosed within double quotes. Here welcome is enclosed within triple single quotes. So in this way we are getting this welcome got printed. Now here we're having this triple double quote rather. Also you can use as triple single quote, so that is not an issue. So print my str3, it will go on printing that is welcome to the world of Python programming. So triple quotes string can extend multiple lines. So in place of this single double quote, if we can put a single triple quote here, then what will be the outcome? Are you going to get any change in the outcome in that case? So let me go for execution. I'm finding that I'm getting the same output as I got earlier. So accessing characters in a string. So here my str is equal to language, and then I printed this my str here. So language has got printed, and then I'm retrieving the character at the 0th index. So I shall retrieve this L. So L has got printed. Now -1, that means from the back where this particular E is having the index -1, and from the front this E will have the index that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we print here 7, if we just I'm just printing here once again. So you can find that. So in the both cases I shall be getting this E has got printed as 7 or -1. So -1 means there is a starting character index from the tail of the string. So next one is 1 to 5. That means index number 1, 2, 3 and 4, because 5 will be always exclusive. The stopping index number will be always exclusive. So 1 to 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we are mentioning this 1 and 5, they have got separated by this colon. So that is my 0. So 0 I'm not going to take. So there is a character at the position index 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've taken this ANGU, and you see we're getting this output like this. So now here we're having this 4 colon minus 2. Sorry, 5 colon minus 2. So there is a 5 here. So I'm going to take this one as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we're having this one as 5 here. So now we're having this one as -2. So that is -1, -2. You know that we'll be taking this stopping index as exclusive. So I'll be remaining with this A only. So A has got printed. So that means 5 colon -2 means from the 5th character and to the -3 character. So -3 means this is my -1, this is the -2, and this is the -3. So that's why A has got printed. So but if I make this one as 4, then obviously we're getting the output like this. So that is UA in that case. Now here you see this 10, the index 10 is not present here because this language is having we are having say 8 characters. So index will be ranging from 0 to 7. So 10 index is not a valid one. So if I want to access the 10th character, so character at the 10th index, so we are getting this index error. So string index out of range. So that is the error message we are getting here. Okay, now we're going for this. So here we have defined this language. So strings are immutable, that means they cannot be changed, but the different strings can be assigned to the string object. So if we print this mystr, I'm getting this language. But if you want to update, if you want to put another new string to this mystr in the same variable, that is allowed. But if you want to update the 3rd character of the string, that is not allowed as it is immutable. So there is a type error, and str object does not support item assignment. So there is the error message we are getting, and there is the error name is type error. Next one, we are going for the concatenation of the string, and that can be done using plus. So mystr1 and mystr2 containing welcome and one blank space and then to all. So now when they are going for the concatenation, I'm getting the outcome this one. So welcome to all. This blank space is essential because otherwise this welcome and to will not have any separation. So they will get concatenated side by side. So now here we are having this, that is my mystr start 3. So what will happen? The mystr start 3. So what will happen? This particular mystr will be occurring for my_state1 will be occurring for 3 times. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So in this way we are going to get the required formed string. So we can do the string concatenation either using star or using the plus operators. Now we're going to discuss, so plus and star both I have discussed. Now iterating through a string here. So letter count is equal to 0. So for letters in hello world, if the letter is equal to L, so now letter count is plus equal to 1. So what will happen? So I shall go on counting the number of occurrences of L, this very character. So that's why each and every time the for loop will pick up one character at a time, and that will be put in the letters. So if letters is equal to L, then letter count will be increased by 1, and after exiting from the indentation you are getting this idea that this print is outside of the for loop. So letter count will be printed accordingly. So if you go on executing, I'm getting that 3 times L letter has been found here. Now we are going for the string membership. So L in hello, so L in hello will return true, L not in hello will return false, B in hello will return false, B not in hello will return true here. Built-in functions, so we are having this university, and then we shall go for the enumerate. So list enumerate my_str. So what will happen? It will go on forming this enumeration. So at first it will put the respective index, and then we are having the respective character here. So in this way we are having this index 0 u, index 1 n. In this way we are having this index 9 y, because university is having 10 characters, so index will be ranging from 0 to 9, and in this way you are getting it. So here you see we are forming a list. We are forming a list because we are just converting it to a list, and then the members are nothing but the tuples. The members are nothing but the tuples because they have got separated by commas and they have got enclosed within first brackets. So they are the simple tuples, and list of tuples we are getting here, and length of my_str will be 10 accordingly. And here we have used the method that is the enumerate. Now we shall deal with this single quote and double quote. So what we shall do, that let us suppose I'm going to print this one. So when I'm going to print this one, it is producing one error. Why error? Because this is a double quote, this is one double quote, so it will take this double quote as a terminating double quote. So that's why it is causing error here. And also this, what you see, it is telling that invalid syntax because the quotes are not matching. So quotes are not balanced. So to write the statement here, to write this string getting printed on the output, we can go for this. So what we are doing, we are enclosing it within triple single quotes, and this particular string is still within double quotes. So now you see we are getting the outcome like this. Otherwise we can enclose the main string within single quotes and putting this one as the double quotes, and here this particular single quote is there, and we are going for the escape character. So that is a slash single quote, and which will be known as the escape quotes, the escape single quotes. So whenever we are going to print, it will print the respective only this single quote here. So now we are having this escaping single quotes. So now we are enclosing, we are doing the reverse actually. Here we have put this single quote as the outer one and double quotes as the inner one. But if you go for the double quotes as the outer one and single quotes as the inner one, then obviously this single quotes will get printed here. Otherwise we can go for this. That means we can escaping double quotes. That means we are going for this slash double quote. So here this double quote will be treated as a character, not the beginning of the ending of a string. So that's why we are going for the escaping double quotes. So when the string will get printed, so slash double quote will be printed as only a double quote, and slash double quote will be printed as only a single double quote. And here we are having this single quote is there, so that will not cause any problem. So in this way the string can be printed in varieties of ways. So either using triple quotes or using escaping the single quotes, escaping the single quotes once again, and then escaping the double quotes once again. Next we are going for this. So here you see there is a print I want to make it printed. So whenever we are having double slash, it will print as single slash here. You can find we are printing this one as a single slash, but actually in the string we are having the double slash. So print, this is having a new line, that is a slash n. So what will happen, it will go to the next line. We're having this slash t, that is a tab, so that is a separated is there for 8 characters. And then we can also write in this way, that is slash x41. So f41 will be treated as in hexadecimal. So what is the decimal value against this 41? So 4 into 16 to the power of 1, that is 64, plus 1 into 16 to the power of 0, that is 1. So 64 plus 1, that is 65. Which character is having this ASCII code 65? That is our capital A. So it is similarly we are having this capital B. Similarly we are having this capital C. So this ABC will be there. So in this way you can also print the respective string. We are having this format. So default order is equal to, so now here you see these are the different placeholders we are having. Dot format. So today will be coming to this, is will be coming to this, and Sunday will be coming to this placeholder. So here we are having this default order. If you go on printing, I'm getting the output like this one. So today is and Sunday. So we are getting this today is and Sunday. So today is coming to this, is coming to this. So they are maintaining the order. That is a default implicit order. And here we are using this format method. So order using positional argument. So here this is my argument number 0, argument number 1, argument number 2. So the positional arguments, the numbering will be something like this. So here mentioning the argument positional number here. So that is the, so 1 means today will be coming down. So 0 means is will be coming down here, and Sunday will be coming down to this particular placeholder during the output. So you can find that today is and Sunday. So ordered using keyword argument. So here you can mention this one, I as is equal to is, T as is equal to today, and S is equal to Sunday. So here you are mentioning the respective keyword arguments there. So that is TIS, and we are getting the output like this one. So that is another way to print our string. Formatting numbers. So here you see we're having this format 20. So 20 is only one argument is there. So it is the argument position number is 0. So we are printing here 0, and here we are printing 0 but in the binary format. So what will be the outcome in that case? So 20 will be printed along with this 20 in the binary form. That is 16 plus 4, and that is our 20. So now we are having this formatting floats. We can go for this formatting. So now we are having this 0. That means this particular number is going to get printed, and that will be printed in this exponentiation format. And now we are having this 1 by 3, and we are going to print this one. There is a positional argument number 0, and then colon, there is a decimal point 3f. So after the decimal point we'll be going to have our 3 decimal digits. We're having this particular strings, and we're having the string methods. That is a lower, upper, find, and we're having replace. So in case of lower, all the string characters will be converted to the lowercase. In case of upper, all the string characters will be converted to the uppercase irrespective of the initial case here. So find 2. So this 2 will be found at the 13th index. So let me go on counting here. So that is our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And from the 13th index, this 2 is beginning. So that's why I'm getting here 13. But if you go on searching this 2, all this T and O in the lowercase, you may not get a match because it is a case sensitive find. So as a result of that, it will give me the outcome as -1, means unsuccessful searching. So replace all by everybody and replace all by everybody. Now here you see if you consider the case sensitivities, you are getting a match. So all will be replaced by everybody. But here this all is written all in lowercase. So ALL. So everybody cannot replace it. So because there is no match has been observed using this replace method. So in this way we have discussed that how to operate with the string and what are the different string methods and operations can be carried out in this session. Thanks for watching this video.
Python data type conventions and typecasting.
We are going for implicit and explicit type conversion. So we have defined num int is equal to 123 and num float, that is a flow, is equal to 1.23. So here we are doing this addition in between the integer and the float variable. So what will be the data type of this num new? I'm printing the num int type, num float type, and then the num new we are going to print and its respective type here. So here is outcome. So num int is of type integer, num flow will of the type of float, and here we are having this num new, the respective value, that is 124.23, and the data type of num new will be float here. That means automatically this num int has been converted to the float by the implicit type conversion in Python. So let us go for the next one. So here we are having this integer, and next one is a string. So their respective types are getting printed. So respective types are getting printed. So now if I make the respective addition, there is a num int plus num str. If I do this addition, then obviously the implicit type conversion will not take place. That means if I go for execution, that means adding one integer with a string, then it will produce one error, and the error is known as the type error. It has been raised, and unsupported operand types for plus, that is int and str. There is a int and str. So this is the unsupported types we have provided with the plus operator. So that is the source of the error. So this line should not get executed. So I'm putting this one under comment. But if I want to do, so here is, so you can find that integer and the string variables are defined, their respective types are got printed, and now I'm converting this num str to integer and assigning to the num str back again. So now we can also change the variable name here, no issues, but here just updating this num str with the integer converted value from the string to the integer, and that will be assigned to num str. And the type of the num str has got printed. So here we are expecting it will print of the type of string, here it will print of the type of integer. So now num sum is equal to num int plus num str. Now the num str is of the type of integer, so the addition can take place. So num sum will print the summation, and type of num sum will be also of the type of integer. You can find this one. So data type of num int is of the type of class int, and num str before the typecasting is class str. So num str after the typecasting class int. After doing the typecasting, if you go on printing the type of num str, it is printing that one as respective integer, and then after doing the addition between these two, the respective sum will be obtained, and that will be of the type of integer, because when you are printing the type of num sum, we are getting this one as class int. So in this way you have discussed how to do the explicit type conversion and what is implicit type conversion in this particular example. Thanks for watching this video.
Python numbers.
Numbers in Python can have mainly three different data types. First one is the integer. So here you see the value 1 is equal to 100. So this 100 is of type integer. And then we are having the next one as float. In case of float, value 2 is equal to 100.24. So it is of the type float class. And this particular float will always have some decimal point here, and fractional part will be there. And then we are having the another type that is known as a complex, and this complex type numbers will be expressed in the form of the 15 plus 6j. So it is one of the examples we have given. So we are having three different types are there. One is the int, next one is the float, and the last one is the complex class in our Python. And integer and floating point numbers are separated by the presence of or absence of the decimal point. So in case of 5, if you write only 5, it is an integer, but if you write the 5.0, it will be of the type float. Okay, so now here you see we are having this value 1 initialized with the value 100, and then we are going for the print type of value 1, and also we are checking is instance value 1 int, value 1 float, and value 1 complex. If I execute this particular part, we are getting this type as class type of int, and this is instance will always return a boolean. It will check whether this value 1 is of the type int or not, and that is true here, but in case of float and complex, it is returning false. Similarly, we are doing the same type of testing here. In case of value 2, if I go on executing, we are getting the required output. So value 2 comma int, if we pass these two parameters to is instance, I'm getting the output false. But here in this case, as this value 2 is of type float, so is instance value 2 comma float will return true, and value 2 comma complex will return false here. So now let us go for this complex. So here we are having value 3 is equal to 50 plus 6j. So if we go on executing, we're getting the output like this. So in case of int, in case of float, with the isInstance method, we're getting this false. But with the complex, isInstance value 3 comma complex, it is returning true here. So in this way, we have tested that how the number instance can be tested, or the number type can be tested using the method isInstance. This Python, in case of Python, also we can have other different corresponding representations of data. There is a binary which will have the base 2, hexadecimal which will be having the base 16, and octal which will be having the base 8 here. So numbers we deal with our everyday are having the base 10, that is our decimal numbers. But other than this decimal, you can work with the base 2, that is the binary number system. We are having this hexadecimal with the base 16 and octal with the base 8 here. So to represent one binary number, we can easily write 0b as a prefix to this number. You can write this b in the capital letter also. So if you go on printing this 0b 1101, that means this 1101 is not in decimal but in binary. 0x will stand for the hexadecimal and 0o will be standing for this octal here. So now let me go for the execution. You can find that if I execute this part, I'm getting 13 because 8 plus 4, that is 12 plus 1, that is 13 here. Because this particular place is having the place value to the power of 0, that is 1. This particular place is having the place value to the power of 1, that is 2. To the power of 2, that is 4, and to the power of 3, that is 8. So 8 plus 4 plus 1, 13 we are getting here. So in case of this 0xab, so a is having the value in hexadecimal as 10. So 16 to the power of 1 into 10, we are getting here 160, and b is having the value 11. So 11 into 16 to the power of 0, so you are landing with 11 only. So 160 plus 11, we are getting the value 171. In the last case, you can find that it is 2 into 80 to the power of 1, because it is represented in the terms of octal. So 2 into 80 to the power of 1 plus 3 into 80 to the power of 0. So we are getting this value 16 plus 3, and that is 19 here. So in place of writing this small b, you can also go for the capital B. This is, I'm replacing this one as capital X and replacing this one as capital O. Then also we are going to get the same output here. Now here you see, here we are having this particular value 10 in terms of integer, and 13.4 is nothing but a float data. So what will happen if you go on printing this one? So you see the result is being converted to the respective float here. So operations like addition, subtraction, which is dealing with this integer and the float, and then automatically it will be converted to the float implicitly. So here you see we are having this integer operand, here we are having this float operand. If any one of the operand is float, then the result will be implicitly converted to the float type. So now we are going to have this type conversion. So 10.5 is of the type float, and if we want to convert it to integer, we can get the output like this. So 10 is getting output, is producing the output. So now here we are having this minus 20.99, so it is a float type. So if we do the type casting to integer, we're getting this one as minus 20. So you can find this one that when we are doing the conversion to integer, it is not changing the sign of the number. So here we are having this float 10. So this 10 is of the type integer because there is no fractional part, there is no decimal point. But as I did the type conversion here, so the output has become 10.0. Now consider this example. Data 1 is equal to 0.1 plus 0.2, and we are just printing the value of data 1. So if I execute this code, we are finding that we were expecting the value should be printed as 0.3 because 0.1 plus 0.2 should be 0.3, but we are finding that we're having so many different zeros after that, and then 1.4 is coming. So this is an error is getting caused due to the hardware of our system, not due to the Python. So if we want to check whether 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 is 0.3 or not, then in that case we'll be finding that the condition is giving the output as false. To overcome this issue, we can use the decimal module that comes with Python. And while floating point numbers have the precision up to 15 decimal places, and the decimal module has user settable precision accordingly. So here you see we are having this data 1 is equal to 0.1 plus 0.2 print data 1. So we are getting this output as 0.3 and multiple number of zeros and 4. And then here also we are just doing one calculation, that is 1.20 into 2.50, and we are printing the value of data 1. We are getting this 3.0 as well. So now from decimal, import decimal as a D. So if you now do the calculation in this way, you can see we have written this particular code and we are going to print the respective result. We are getting the value as 0.3, which was expected, and for this outcome we are getting this output as 3.00. So in this way, the problem which we are facing in case of Python can be overcome using the from decimal import decimal. Here this decimal D will be in the uppercase. So here we are use one alias, that is as D here. Now we shall discuss fractions. Python provides operations involving fractional numbers through its fractions module, and this fraction module will help us to convert one floating point number to a numerator denominator form, where both the numerator and the denominator will be of the type integer. Actually, fraction has a numerator and a denominator, and both of which are integers, and this module has support for rational number arithmetic. So let us go for this example here. So you see that from fractions, import fraction as f, and this is a respective module we are executing here. So you can find that 1.5 can be expressed in terms of 3 by 2, and this 3 is nothing but one integer numerator, and 2 is nothing but another integer which has been placed as the denominator. So print f5, which will give you the 5, and print f1 comma 5 will give you the value, that is 1 by 5. So while creating fraction from float, we might get some unusual results, and this is due to the imperfect binary floating point number representation. And fortunately, fraction allows us to instantiate with a string as well, and this is preferred option when using the decimal numbers. Now we shall discuss the math module. Python offers module like math and the random to carry out different mathematics like your trigonometry, logarithms, probability, statistics, and etc. So just consider this set of code. So Python math module. So we have imported the math, and then we used multiple different functions available in the math here. So pi, cos, log, log of 10, exp, factorial, and signage. So here is the respective outputs we are getting here. So if we want to print the absolute of say minus 12.34, if we want to print this one, then in that case we need not to use the math module here. So we can use directly as abs minus 12.34. You can find that we have considered only the magnitude part and the sign part has been ignored. Now let us come to this, that is the random here. So here you see we are going for the rand range, that is 5,15. So the initial value is the start value, which is optional. If you don't provide any initial value, the value will become considered as 0. And the last one, the next one value, that is the second argument we are passing, is mandatory, that is the terminating value or the stop value, and that is exclusive. That means here the random numbers will be generated inclusive 5 to 15 exclusive. So in this way you can go on printing, and we can generate multiple random numbers are there. So the first value is optional, that is there is a start value. The second value is mandatory, that is a stop value. Then you can also put another argument, comma, after putting comma there, there is a step value. So here we have printed a rand range in between 5 to 15 4 times. So now we are having this 11, 8, 14 and 13. If I execute the code once again, we are getting the different set of values. If we execute the code once again, we are getting different set of values. So now we are having one list here, then random.choice day. So day is nothing but the list. Here you see it has picked up the random choice is 2. If you go for execution once again, we are getting this value as 2 here once again. So if you go for again, you can find that we are getting here mon here. So now this is a print day. Now we are going for random.shuffle day. And then if we print day, we can find that this is the respective different arrangement of this list elements, and list elements have got shuffled. And then we are having this print random element. So if you want to print the random element, then the method is random, so we can print the respective random element here. So in this way, in this particular program, we have discussed multiple different aspects of number type in our Python. So let us go for a quick revision. So type is actually returning the type of the variable. Each instance is actually checking whether this particular variable is having this type or not. So that's why this is instance is actually returning true or false. So we have tested that one on integer, we have tested that one on float, we have tested that one on complex numbers. So here we are expressing numbers in terms of binary. So the prefix will be 0b, b can be small letter or capital letter. For the hexadecimal, the prefix should be 0x, x can be lowercase or in the uppercase. And for the octal, we are having this value which will be having the prefix 0, o can be in the lowercase or uppercase. So here you can find that whenever we are doing some calculations involving integers and float, the result will get implicitly converted to the float. We're having to for this type conversion from this float to the integer, from this float to the integer, from this integer to the float, respective outputs are there. We have discussed this decimal here, how we can deal with we can have the control over the precisions. And then we're having this Python fractions. You can see that how the fractions are working, and then the math module and also the random module here. I think now you are getting this idea that how these numbers are getting handled in our Python programming. Thanks for watching this video.
Python namespace and scope.
Identifier is nothing but one name which is simply a name given to Python objects, and you can get the address in RAM of some object through the built-in function that is our ID. So using this ID function, we can easily get the ID of the respective identifier. So now you can get the different values of ID in our execution, whatever the ID we have written here under the comment. So A is equal to 2. So I want to print the ID of 2. I want to print the ID of A also. So see what we're doing. So here is the outcome. So the ID of 2 and ID of A both are same. You can easily find that both are same. Again, we are assigning A is equal to 2 and we're trying to print the ID of A. We are finding that this ID is also the same as we had before. Next one is that we have made A is equal to A plus 1. So A is now holding the value 3 here. So if we print the ID of A, we are finding that the ID of A has got different, and there is the ID which is different from the ID of A, whatever we got the outcome earlier. Next, ID of 3. If I print this ID of 3, I'm getting this one as 1764516064. So that means it is the same as the ID of A, because A is now holding the value 3 here. If I assign B is equal to 2, and if I want to print the ID of 2, I'm getting the same ID which we had in case of A or in case of 2 when A was having the value 2 here. So if I print the respective one, if I go on printing, say print. So if I print, I can find that the ID of 2 and ID of B both are same because B is equal to 2 has been assigned. So in this way, we have discussed that what is a identifier and what is an ID. ID is nothing but one built-in function available in Python to print the respective memory address in the RAM. The address is whatever we have printed. If we execute the same code, we might be getting some different address. So that will be decided by that during the execution of my code, which memory block is free, and depending upon that, the memory allocation against the variables will be done by the system. Next one is the scope. So we are having this outer function, we are having this inner function. So it is also known as nested function. So global A, that means I'm defining one variable within outer function, but the scope will be global. So that's why we have used the keyword global here. This value of A has been initialized with 20. Now there is my inner function. There is a nested function which is existing inside the outer one. You can look at the indentation and you can get the idea that this particular inner function is within the outer function. Here we are defining this A, but it is not a new A, but it is a global A which we referred earlier. That A has got updated with the value of 30 and the value of A has got printed. from the outer function, this inner function, whatever we have defined it just now, it has got executed, it has been called. So during execution, it will have its execution, and we are printing this value of a after exiting from the inner function within outer function. So I've written this a is equal to 10 at first. So that is the a is there. I'm printing the value of a. So it is printing 10. Now we are calling this outer function. So when the control will be going to the outer function, this a is actually the global a. That means the a which is right now holding the value 10. So that 10 has got updated with the 20, but we didn't print anything. Then the inner function will be called. So inner function is also referring the same global variable a. So this a is available in the global scope, and that a will be used in the inner function. Now a is equal to 30. Now this 30 is updating the global a scope, the a which is defined in the global scope. Now we are printing this value of a, so it is printing 30 here. After calling this inner function, again we are printing this value of a from the outer function, then it is printing 30. And after calling this outer function, if you print the value of a here, I'm getting 30 back again. So it is giving me the idea, it is giving us the idea what is the scope here, and whenever one variable is in one scope, then how to access that variable from the some inner scope using the global keyword, as we did in our coding. In this demonstration, we have discussed that how to define what is happening whenever we are defining one identifier in our Python coding. Thanks for watching this video.
Python global, local and non-local variables.
In this example, we have defined one x which has been defined outside of the function1. So it is a global variable x, and which is containing the string global here. So here within the function1, we have defined this global x. That means we are referring to the same x variable here. Y is having the scope local, and it has got initialized with a local string. X is equal to x star 2. So x is having the string global. Star 2 means this global will be repeated twice. The string will become global, and that will be assigned to the x back again. We are going to print the value of x and y respectively. So now we are calling this function1, but before calling this function1 and after calling this function1, we are also printing the value of x here. So here is the outcome. You can easily find that initially, that means before calling this function1, the global x is having the value global. Within the function, when it is printing x, it is printing global. When it is printing y, it is printing local. And whenever we are printing this global x back again after execution of this function1, we are getting this one as global. Because this particular variable x is having the, it has been defined with the global keyword. That means it is referring to the same x, that is a global variable defined outside of the function1. So let us go for another example, that is the global and local variable with the same name. Here you can find that a is equal to 5 is a global variable defined before the function2, and here we are defining another variable a with the same name, but here it is having a local scope. So local variables are accessed from the block where it is defined only. So here we have written this a is equal to 10. So print local a. If I print this value of a, I shall be getting 10 here. So before calling this function2, I'm just printing the value of a, that is a global a. I'm expecting here the value of a will get printed as 5, and after this function2 calling, if I print the value of a, that is a global a, I'm supposed to get the value 5 here back again. But within this particular function2, when I shall print this local a, I'm supposed to get the value as 10. So according to our expectation, you are getting the outcome as well. Let us go for another one where we will be creating and using non-local variables. So where here we have defined one function. Within the function, one variable is defined. This variable is local within the function itself. That means this variable is having the scope within the function itself. So now here we are having a nested function. So within the nested function, the name of the function is inner. We are supposed to define non-local variables. So here you can find that we have defined non-local x. That means we are referring the same x which is defined here, because it is non-local here. So x has got updated, and from the inner method we are printing the value of x. So we are expecting that x will get printed as non-local. We're executing this inner method, so this code will get executed. X will get updated with the new string, that is the non-local. So after executing this inner method, if I print this X, so you are expecting that we are supposed to get non-local here, and here we are executing the outer method after completion of the definition of the outer function here. So inner non-local, so from here when we are printing the value of X, so X has got just initialized with the string non-local, so inner colon non-local is coming, but as X is a non-local variable, so as a result of that, this X will also get updated with the string non-local. So as a result of that, this outer colon X will also print non-local here. But in that same code, if I make this line, only if I make this one line under comment, then we are having this one as X is equal to non-local. So as this particular variable has got defined not without the non-local keyword, so as a result of that, its scope will be local within the inner method only. So that's why it will not update this global X, it will just update the local X only within this inner method. So what will happen? Inner will print non-local from the inner, but when you will be printing this outer colon X, it will print the string local back again. You can find that it is printing non-local and local. So in this video, we have discussed what is non-local variable, what is global variable, how to define non-local variable, how to define global variable into details and with demonstration. Thanks for watching this video.
Python global keyword.
In this demonstration, we have defined one function, that is a function 1, where one variable has got defined and initialized with the value 20. Within this function, this variable X is having the value 20 here. We are having one nested function. Within function 1, the nested function is having the name function 2. Here we have defined one variable X and with the keyword global. So global X. Actually, the global keyword will be used to modify a global variable. Here the X value has got updated with the value 25 here. So this X is a global one. So here we have defined one variable which is of the scope global. So now before calling this function 2, we are printing the value of X. Calling the function 2 now, and we have called the function 2, and then after calling function 2, the value of X is getting printed. So now let us see what is the outcome we are going to have. So here you see here this X is having the value 20. Calling function 2 now, after calling function 2, the value of X has still with the value 20. Because the changes we are not going to get here, we are expecting that the value might be changing, but no change is there. Always the X has got printed with the value 20 before and after calling the function 2, because this particular X is having the global scope. So if we want to print this particular X, then after calling this function 1, we can directly print this X, because this particular X is having the global scope. That means not within this function 2 or function 1, it is outside of that. So whenever you are trying to print the value of X from the outside of this function 1, then we are getting this value as 25. I think you are getting this idea. This particular global X is actually, we are defining one variable X which is having the global scope. That means we are going to define a global variable, and that global variable is getting updated or getting initialized with the value 25 here. So this X and this X, they are actually corresponding to this X. So this X is still with the value 20. So that's why we have got the output as 20, and in the global X, the value of X has become 25 here. I think you have got the idea what is the purpose of this global keyword usage in this line, to define one global variable and to modify with the help of the global keyword. Thanks for watching this video.
We are going to discuss Python iterators.
Iterators are very common in our Python programming language, and they are elegantly implemented within our for loops, generators, comprehensions, etc., but hidden in our plain sight. An iterator in Python is nothing but an object, and this object will return data one at a time during our iteration. Obviously, if some data is available, then only it will return the data, otherwise it will throw some exception. So technically speaking, Python iterator object must implement two special methods. One is the next method, so can also be called as underscore underscore next underscore underscore method, and another one is the iter method, that is actually underscore underscore iter underscore underscore method, and collectively they will be known as the iterator protocol. An object is called iterable if we can get an iterator from it. Most of the built-in container in our Python, like our string, like our tuple, list, we're having, they are nothing but iterables. The iter method or the iter function, which in turn call the iter underscore underscore iter underscore underscore method, returns an iterator from them. So let us go through this example and to discuss the property of this iterator. So here you see, here we have defined one list here, and this iter method, from using this iter method from this list, we are getting one iterator. And to access the data from this iterator, we are using the method next here. So either you can use this next our iter. So this is a syntax to retrieve elements from this iterator, that is our iter. Otherwise we can write our iter dot underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. So anyone we can use that one. So here you see the list is containing data, that is 44, 77, 11 and 33. So for the first next I'm retrieving 44, next I'm retrieving here is 77, next element which will be retrieved here is 11, next element which will be retrieved here is 33. So now we have got all the 4 elements. Now if we go for next our iter, it will raise one exception. So let us go for the execution of this block. So here we are having 44, 77, 11 and 33. Because the elements were 44, 77, 11 and 33, so when we executed print next our iter, then 44 was retrieved, and next print next our iter, when you execute this method, then 77 has been retrieved from this iterator, that is our iter. Next time 11, next time 33. Now if I execute this one, I should not put this one in comment. If I execute this one, then one exception will be there, and that is a stop iteration, and this will raise error no items left, as we mentioned in the comment. And so next our iter will produce this error, that is a stop iteration. So let us go for another one. So create a custom iterator. So here we are defining one class, that is the power of 2, and here we are having this documentation string. In short we can call it as doc string. So it should be enclosed either within triple single quotes or triple double quotes. So it is also known as a block comment, and it should be the first intended statement in our class. So next we are having this constructor, that is our underscore underscore init underscore underscore. So here we are defining this max, and this is equal to 0 is the default argument. So whatever the value will be passing, that will be assigned to this max instance variable. So here we are just defining this underscore underscore iter underscore underscore method, and similarly this underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. So these two methods we are defining here. So self.n is equal to 0. So n is another instance variable, is getting initialized with the value 0. And then we're having this next. So if self.n is less than equal to self.max, then result is equal to 2 star star, that is 2 to the power of self.n. So 2 to the power of n will be assigned to the result, and self.n will be increased by 1, and the result will be returned. Otherwise, in the else part, we are going for stop iteration. We are erasing this error. There is a stop iteration. So now here at first we are going to print this doc string, that is a documentation string enclosed within triple single quotes, can also be enclosed within triple double quotes. So whenever we are printing this this one, there is a power of 2, that is a class name dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. You can see that it is printing. Let us go for this. It is printing this respective string, that is a class to implement an iterator of powers of 2. So the string whatever is discussed or defined here, so it has got printed. So now we are going for this a is equal to power of 2 4. So now this 4 will be assigned to max. This 4 will be assigned to max. So max has got the value 4 here. So now we are going for this I is equal to iter a. So we are going for this next I, next I, next I. It is going on printing, that is to the power of 0, because n is having the initial value 0 here. So 2 to the power of 0, the result will become 1, and return result, so that result will be printed as 1. So next time this n has got increased by 1, so 2 to the power of 1, the result will have the value 2, and return result, that means it will return the value 2 here. So 2 is getting printed because we have called this next I from this print method. So now next time the value of n will become 2, so 2 to the power of 2 will become 4, so result will have the value 4, and the result will be returned, and that will get printed. So in this way I'm getting this one as 1 2 4 as output. So I think you are getting this idea how this method, which is having this init, that is a constructor, this iter method, the next method, and the respective object we have defined under the class, that is our A. So this max has got initialized with the value 4, which has been passed as the parameter to this constructor. Then out of this A, we are creating one iter. So there is the iterator is this one I, and from iterator we can pick up the next values. So there is a next of I. So this method is getting called. So we can also call it as I dot underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. So let me print it here. So I dot underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. So in this way also we can print it. So now let me go for the execution of the same. So I'm just erasing this part, it is not required. Okay, so now if we execute the same, I'm getting the same output, because next I is actually executing I dot underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. So next we are going for creating a infinite custom iterator. So in this case, this is our doc string. The name of the class is infinite iter, and this here we are having this method iter we have defined, the next we have defined. So this is the infinite iter object. The class object is I. From this I, we are creating one iterator using the method iter, and then we are going for this next A. So here you see the num has got the value 1. So num is equal to self.num. So num has got the value 1 here. Self.num is plus equal to 2. So in this way it will go on creating, because there is no logic is there to stop this one. It will go on creating, thus incrementing this value of num by 2 each and every time, and then returning the num, that is the previous value of num will be returned. So now we are having this next day, the next day, next day. In this way, if you go on calling the next method, so at first the num was having the value 1. So this 1 will be assigned to num, which will be returned. So that is getting printed. So 1 will get printed, then 3, then 5, then 7. In this way, the values will go on printing. So it has got no terminating logic. So that's why it is infinite iter. The name of the class has been given accordingly. So from this demonstration, you are getting this idea that how this iterator can play its role in our Python programming. Thanks for watching this video.
Python iterations using for.
So here we have defined one list. We know that list elements are to be separated by commas, and they are to be enclosed within these third brackets. So this is a list here. So printing all elements present in a set, and here this particular set is nothing but a list. So for I in A, print I. That means in each and every iteration, in each and every loop, in this particular for, using this for, we are picking up one element from the list at a time, and the respective element is going to get printed. So here is the outcome for this code. So in the first iteration, it is picking up 1, then 2, then 3, and then at last it is picking up 5. So that means all these list members are to be picked up, are to be read from the list in the order in which they are appearing in the list. So that is our for loop. So for I in, so there is a syntax. Syntax means the grammar to write this for. So for I in A, then colon. So colon will indicate that next statements will be under this body. So you can find that if I write here print, say hello, then that is also coming within this for. So you can find that it is printing like this. So I want to print this 1 and hello side by side. So we can go for this. Int is equal to null. You can write this one, and then you can print this hello. So what will happen, this 1 and hello will get printed in the same line. So you can, in this way, you can write so many different statements with this indentation to indicate that all the statements are within the for block. Let us go for the next one. Here we are using for, but using this range. We know that here you are given the range, that is 6, 11. That means the value of I will be ranging from 6 to 10. So let me go for the execution. You see, the I is being initialized with 6 to 10 for each and every time iteration. After that, you can put some step value. So here the step value is 2. That means the increment value is 2 here. So now it will go on picking up 6, 8 and 10, because 11 is not inclusive, and that's why it will print the values from 6 to 10 and with this increment factor of 2. In this way you can write this for and using this range function in our for loop. So let us go for another way. So how to write this one? You can find that using for loop for printing the values present in the tuple and using the else command in the for loop. So how to do that one? You can print, say. So this is the outcome we are having. So b is equal to 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So they are coming here, and this is nothing but a tuple. For I in b, so it will picking up the values from this tuple, one value at a time in each and every iteration. And when this particular tuple will get exhausted, then else block will get the control, and then printing completed, that message is going to get printed. So that is another way to write the for loop in our Python coding. So in this demonstration, we have shown you that how to write for in our Python code to have some block to get executed repeatedly for multiple number of times. Thanks for watching this video. In this session, we shall discuss inheritance and polymorphism, which will be observed in Python in object-oriented programming. Here we have defined one class. So here we have defined one class. The name of the class is myBird. This is the constructor. This is a what type, that is one method, and can swim is another method. The method bodies are very simple. We have just put one print statement there. And here we are having another class that is known as myPenguin, which is inheriting myBird. See, myBird we have defined here. So let me execute the code. So here the class has been defined, and myPenguin is inheriting myBird. So like about Java, here we need not to write extents or any other keywords. Just within this bracket we are mentioning the respective class name. The class name which will be mentioned within this bracket will be known as the base class, also known as the superclass, and this is our derived class or subclass here. So in case of Python, the class inheritance will be written using this particular syntax. So this myPenguin is having the respective constructor, and here we are calling the base class constructor. So base class will be called by the super method, and its constructor is always underscore underscore init underscore underscore method. So that is the base class constructor we are calling, and then one statement to get printed. And who is this and can run? So these are the other two methods in this myPenguin class. So just remember, in myBird, along with the constructor we are having what type and can swim, and in case of myPenguin we are having this constructor, and along with we are having who is this and can run. So these two other methods are there. We're defining one penguin class object. So it has been defined in a very simple way. So that means we're having this myPenguin, and then we're having the pg1 is the object name. So pg1 dot what type, this particular what type was defined in the class that is a myBird. As myBird has got inherited into myPenguin, so myBird methods can be accessed from this myPenguin object. So that's why pg1 dot what type can be executed. We're having pg1 dot who is this. So it is defined in case of myPenguin. You can easily find in myPenguin who is this is defined. We're having this pg1 dot can swim. We're having pg1 dot can run. pg1 dot can swim was defined in myBird class, and pg1 dot can run, this can run was defined in myPenguin. That means what type and can swim we are inheriting, we're getting this one from the base class, that is myBird, because there they were defined. So now let me go for the execution. myBird class constructor is executing, myPenguin class constructor is executing. You can easily find that here you have called the base class constructor, so that's why the control has gone to this. So myBird class constructor is executing, has got printed at first, then myPenguin class constructor is executing, so that string has got printed. So now we called what type. So what type is having the string that is I am a bird, so that has to be printed. That has got printed. I am penguin. So now next method we called is who is this. So I am penguin. So that string has got printed. Next we went for this can swim. So can swim is having this string to be printed, that is I can swim. So I can swim has got printed. Now we are having this can run, and I can run faster. So in this way, this particular string has got printed. So using this example, we have shown you that how inheritance can be implemented in Python. So let us go for another example here. We are having one class. The name of the class is myParrot, and here we are having can fly and can swim. So obviously parrot can fly, so parrot can fly, but parrot cannot swim, so parrot can't swim. I'm having another class that is myPenguin, which is having two methods, the same prototype. You can easily find that def can fly self and def can swim self. So you see we're having the same prototype defined here also. Okay, now see. So def can fly self, so penguin cannot fly, and def can swim self, we're having penguin can swim. So now we are having one common interface, that is flying bird test. Okay, so I'm going for this bird.canFly and also bird.canSwim. So here in this particular method, we're just passing this bird as input parameter, and we're calling this bird.canFly and bird.canSwim. So here we have defined one parrot class object, myParrot class object, and one myPenguin class object. So we're calling this flying bird test. We're calling this flying bird test with this bird parrot, that is which is a parrot class object, and bird penguin, which is a penguin class object. So what will happen when we are passing this bird parrot? So that is a parrot class object. So that parrot class object dot can fly and parrot class object dot can swim will get executed. So as a result of that, this can fly and this can swim, the respective body will get executed and respective strings are going to get printed. But when you are passing this bird penguin, which is the myPenguin class object, as input parameter to this flying bird test, so in that case this bird can fly and bird can swim will be operated on this myPenguin class objects. So in that case what will happen, we will be getting this penguin cannot fly and penguin can swim in case of flying bird test bird penguin. But in case of flying bird test bird parrot, we're having parrot can fly and parrot cannot swim. So you can find that how these classes are having their respective objects, and the objects are being passed to this flying bird test, and respectively the respective can fly and can swim method will get executed. So in this particular session, we have discussed what is the how to implement the inheritance, how to do the polymorphism in our Python, in our object-oriented programming. Thanks for watching this video.
Python multiple inheritance.
In case of multiple inheritance, we'll be having multiple base classes and one derived class, and the derived class will be deriving properties, that is the methods, variables from the base classes. And here we are having one example. Class base 1 having one statement pass, class base 2 having one statement pass here, and class multi-derived, which will take this base 1 and base 2 as the base classes or the super classes, and we'll have only one statement pass here. So if I can execute this one, you see there is no error has occurred. So Python supports multiple inheritance. So let us go for another example here. So here we are having class base 1, which is having only one method, that is a function base 1. These are the required print statement to be executed. And here we are having class base 2, only one function, that is a function base 2, and here this thing will get executed. And base 3, we are having only one function inside it, there is a function base 3, and respective the print statement is there mentioned. Now here we are having, there is a multi-derived base 1 comma base 2 comma base 3. So here we are having multiple base classes and only one derived class. The name of the derived class is multi-derived, and we are having three base classes, base 1, base 2 and base 3. So here we are having only one function, there is a function multi-derived, and where this function multi-derived is executing, this string will get printed by the print method. So now let us go for our object declaration under this multi-derived. So MD1 is the object name. So multi-derived object under the class multi-derived. So we have called this multi-derived constructor, and this object has got defined and instantiated. Now MD1.function base 1. So that means this particular function is getting called, and then function base 2, this function is being called, function base 3, this function has been called, as they are the base classes to this derived class, so their respective functions, that is the member functions, will get inherited into this multi-derived. As a result of that, this multi-derived class object, from this multi-derived class object, if I want to access those functions, I shall be allowed to access that one. And also I can access that very function which is defined itself within this multi-derived class. So now let us go for the execution. You can find that function base 1 is executing, so this function has got its successful execution. Function base 2 is executing, function base 3 is executing, and function multi-derived is executing. That means the respective all the 4 functions, they have executed, and respective print statements are printing their respective strings to be printed. So in this way, in this example, we have demonstrated how to define one class where we will be having multiple base classes, and how to implement multiple inheritance in Python. Thanks for watching this video.